Hello, hello. There we go. I'm like, what the hell's wrong? What happened? Okay, hold on. I'm hearing myself. There we go. I guess I was on my phone and my computer, so that's why I was doing that. I was like, dang, not two of me. Shit. People better watch out if there's two of me. The world could not take it. I hope you guys have had a great week so far. I missed you guys yesterday. I had a rough day. I actually did a transport and um, autopsy before work yesterday. So, and then I went into work and did a 12-hour shift. And let me just say that it was probably the hardest one I've done so far. Um, you guys know I can't give away too much, but it is in the news everywhere in my area. Um, but there was a tragic accident that happened on Sunday, and it involved a very small child. Um, and so that is hard. Seeing such innocence on that table and you know, their light put out so early on, early on in life is so sad. And then after that, I went into work, worked a 12-hour, and then I was just like, done. I'm done. I'm done for the day. All I wanted to do was just hug my babies and my grandbaby a little bit tighter. But yes, please get your grandbabies, your kids, please get them swimming lessons. Even if you are not normally around water or anything like that, please, please, please get swimming lessons to where a young child will be able to at least turn themselves over and float if they ever enter a body of water because it happens so much. Yeah, couch potato. It was rough. It was a rough one for sure. And I try my best not to bring things home, but it's hard not to when it's things like that. So, it was rough. So I was just done after that. And when I got off work, Tibby was live, so I went in there for a little bit, and then I was just checked out. So I was like, "Yeah, I'm not getting on live because who knows what I would say." Who knows where that would go? So, yeah. Oh, thank you, Colette. Yeah, I did not see any family or anything like that, but I'm sure they do. They're living their worst nightmare right now. Um, so yeah, but that one was hard. He just was so precious. He was just so precious laying there. I mean, it was like he was sleeping, and it's like you just want them to wake up. So yeah, that was a hard one. But without further ado, if you're over on, thank you, Lakita. If you're over on Facebook, get out of the live that you're in and scroll to the top. You'll see a link. Click that link. Come on over and join us for True Crime with your host, me, Feminine and Fierce. As always, true crime trigger warnings, all different kinds. I feel like all cases are some type of trigger warning. So because of that, we do play games at the beginning. We play the mugshot game. We're not very we're not very good at it, but we still play. Hey, you guys. Hey, everybody coming in. Yes, prayers for his family. Prayers for baby boy's family. Because now it's hitting the news and it's all over the news and they just released his name on the news and it's like I don't understand and I get releasing names, but I don't understand what his name has any I just don't get that. Like I can understand if it's like an adult or whatever, but a child, a baby that's not even in school yet, well, not a baby, but it's a child that's not even in school yet. What's the use of putting out their name? Like, why does the news need to release the name? I don't know. It just bothers me for some reason because I just feel like why the family just has to relive it every time that the new and I get the news they have a job, but I just feel like they could leave that out. Yes, honey, we're going to talk about that as well. That is one of the cases we're going to talk about because I've talked about Genesis in the past, and we talked about it on True Crime before. So now that there's an update with the Genesis case, we're definitely going to dive into that in just a little bit, honey. So yeah, if you're over on Facebook, make your way over. We are going to. After these two games, then I will end the Facebook. There's only two rules to true crime, and that is no malarkey and no spoiler alerts. So if you know something about a case, just wait until 'cause sometimes I'll have multiple videos about one case. And then if you have something to add, of course, add it. Just don't spoil it for others if they've not seen it. Yeah, Denise. And sadly, people don't realize that you can drown, especially a child can drown in like 2 inches of water. I mean, it doesn't take much. It just depends on several factors, obviously, but there doesn't have to be that much water for a child to drown, or for anybody for that matter. All right, so we're going to start with our first mugshot game. Let's see which one. Yeah, Colette. And here's the thing about drowning also. A lot of people expect drowning to be very loud, and it's not. So, I remember this mom had lost her child. Her and the other mom were having a conversation, and her kid went to like the kiddie end of the pool to be with the other mom's kids. She was having a conversation, and within 2 minutes, the child was gone. And she was like, I didn't hear anything." Like, you expect to hear splashing and screaming, and sadly, most are silent. It's not as loud as you think. So just be extra vigilant, especially it's going into the warm part of the year. Just pay attention, because that's the worst thing. So, yeah, Lita. All right, let's get into this. Match the arrestee with their weapon. So match them with the weapon. Let's see. Where are we at? Nope, not that one. That one. All right. We got one, two, three, four, and five. Number two brought his, I think it's a guy or her. They brought their own sign. As you guys all know, all persons are presumed innocent until proven guilty. So they're innocent until proven guilty. We got one, two, three, four. Looks like came from the damn beauty salon, I don't know, and 5. Now the weapons of choice, a bat, what are those? Grippers, pliers, something like that. Balloons, a pear. Is that a pear? I don't eat fruit, so I don't know. Pear, I would say, and then a pillow. So who do we think is who? What do we think we got going on? I had to lighten the mood for a sec. Yes, you did, Lita. I love that. Love that. Mango. What do we got? What do we got? Let me know. Huh. Who does a pillow? What kind of weapon is a pillow? Like, what? That don't make no sense. I feel like, um, oh, a mango. Okay, got it. Mango. You guys, I told y'all I do not. Pillow is number one. Okay, pillow's number one. I feel like number two is definitely the bat. I don't know why, but I get bat. Who doesn't? I don't. I do have something like that. I'm a texture person, so I definitely do have something like that. All right, 4 is the mango. All right, let's do 2 bat. And we got balloons and grippers. Balloons and grippers. We got mango 4. Okay, 3 is 2. That leaves balloons for this guy. Let's see. Oh, snap. We got 2 out of 5 correct, y'all. Oh, I knew that person looked like the bat. All right, number 1 was the mango. 2 was the bat. 3 was the pillow. Like, what is he doing? Trying to have a pillow fight? 4 is the grippers or whatever they're called. And number 5 is the balloon. So we got the bat and the balloons. I think that's water balloons. And old boy got charged for that. He was just trying to have a water balloon fight. But I'll take 2 out of 5. I'll take it. I'll take it. All right, let's go to the next one. The next one is a little different than what we usually do. Right? What in the world? Number 2, this second one is a little bit different than what we usually do. It is actually, most people have aliases, right? Why is it doing it like this? Hold on. There we go. Most people have aliases. So these people all had an alias. So we have to guess the alias. We got one, two, three, four, and 5. And their aliases could be Humpty Dumpty, Bouncy, the Rooster, Ruler of the Universe, and Princess. I feel like number 3 probably got called Princess in jail. I don't know why number 3 makes me think princess, but it does. Anybody else with me? Number 3 makes me think princess. Humpty is number 3? Okay, Humpty is number 3. You said princess is number 5. Okay. I feel like 3 is princess, but we'll go with Humpty. We'll go with Oh, you think princess is 4. Remember that, Blue Flame, in case we get it wrong. Ruler of the universe, I feel like, is probably number 4. I feel like 4 is probably ruler of the universe. All right, let's put that one there. Ruler of the universe. Let's do that one. All right, now we got Rooster and Bouncy. I mean, if I'm going to say this guy looks more like Rooster, the first one, Bouncy is 4. Bouncy is 1. Okay, Bouncy is 1 and Rooster. I feel like this guy looks like the Rooster, but I'm going to trust y'all. I'm going to trust you. Oh, we got 1 out of 5. And looky there. Number 1 was Rooster. I'd have got it right. The only one we got right was ruler of the universe. I don't know why that guy tells me the look in his face. I feel like he's like thinks he's God's gift. And looky there. If y'all would trust me more, we could have got more. Rooster's number 1. Humpty Dumpty, which I don't even get that. What does Humpty Dump? I don't know. Maybe he humps and dumps. I don't know. Maybe him and maybe have something in common. Hump and dump. Hey, original. I'm sorry, I broke my own rule. Let me not. Let me not. Um, Humpty Dumpty number 2. 3 is Princess. I told y'all he had to get that name when he was locked up. Number 4, Ruler of the Universe, and number 5 is Bouncy. Now, again, number 5, I agree with y'all. Looks a little bit more like Princess. Bouncy. What the hell's Bouncy? So yeah, just a little different. Hey, listen, we got 3 out of 10 right. I'm happy with that. If you're over on Facebook, make your way over. I'm getting some stuff lined up now to Florida mother who let boyfriend beat her 5-year-old. Wait, what? Florida mother who let her boyfriend beat her 5-year-old son gets 60 years in prison. Well, that's good. I just read the little headline on my tab. All right, let's see. And there's so much going on lately. Oh, I did post that. Okay. So let's get into this update. Facebook, I'm going to say goodbye to you and we're going to get right into it. So come on over. You don't want to miss it. Bye, Facebook. Right. Here we go. I'm so mad that you were right about Princess. I don't know why. Just all when I seen him, I was like, oh, he's definitely Princess. All right, we're gonna watch this little video on the Nancy Guthrie case. One of her neighbors has now came forward.
Was there anything strange in the neighborhood you noticed, like before this happened?
I did 2 weeks before, about
And if you guys don't know, this is the ongoing missing persons case of Nancy Guthrie. Her daughter is Savannah Guthrie. She is the host on the Today Show. She has been missing since February 1st. Well, actually, she was last seen January 31st when she was dropped off at her home by her. I think it was her daughter-in-law or daughter, one of the two, dropped her off at her house and she didn't show up for her service. Like she watched service every Sunday and she's been missing ever since. So we're on what, a month and 10 days into it. And this is her neighbor.
2 weeks before. It was there. I have a picture window in my bathroom, and I see all the people walking by in the mornings, and I noticed this strange guy with his hat down really low. He was kind of hunched over, not in, walking or hiking gear. He was dressed in kind of street clothing. So I thought that was weird because that's not normal.
And it stood out to you?
Oh yeah, I said something to my husband and my mother. So yeah.
And how often has something like that happened where it stood out to you enough to say something?
Not often at all. I see the same people. They're people I know, my friends. Yeah, so no. I think once, maybe 12 years ago, I saw a strange guy.
Did you tell the police?
I did. I told the FBI the day after they came here, and I discussed that with them. So this is my window that I'm getting ready in the morning, and I saw him out there. So I couldn't make out his face, although his hat was way down, and I think I can open up this one too.
Okay.
See, since we have all this stuff going on, and we have to have it all fixed. So this one is usually open as well. So you've got a pretty good view.
So Nancy's is up that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so you've got a pretty good view, and he was walking down the road, and I always see people and I think, oh, that's my friend Nora, or that's this person or that person. And I saw him and I was like, oh, that guy doesn't fit. So.
And this was sometime around January 11th.
Yes, yes. So my birthday is January 8th. That's
Okay.
why I remember so well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And describe him again?
Well, he was in kind of street clothes, not shoes that you'd walk in, and he had a baseball hat really low, and he was kind of hunched over, and he was kind of looking around, and he just didn't fit. And he wasn't going terribly quickly like a normal person that's getting exercise. He was kind of going slowly, and when he walked by this street, he really took a long look at it. I noticed that.
And it was enough for you to remember to tell your husband. Yeah.
Yeah. It freaked me out. And I'm not one of those people to be super freaked out by that. But I was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it like when the FBI came?
You know, they were young and just listening and asking a couple of questions and wanted to know if our Ring camera worked, and it didn't at that time, unfortunately. I don't know if it would have gotten any of the road because our house is so set back. So I don't know if we would have been much help, but just questions like that.
It's interesting, like no one's Ring cameras work in this neighborhood, it seems like.
Well, it's such a safe neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
Exactly what I was thinking. Thank you for saying that. Because how the hell do these people have, obviously, they are not doing bad for themselves. They've obviously, if they live in that neighborhood, in my opinion, humble opinion, they're not hurting for money. So I just don't understand that none of them have cameras, or they have them and they never renewed the subscription, or they're not working, or like what? It makes no sense.
Like half the time we used to not lock our doors. We do now. Now we have cameras and things like that.
Oh,
But,
now.
no. Yeah, I've never even had a package stolen ever in 23 years. So
So it really is one of those, because I heard some people say, oh yeah, it's like one of those places you wouldn't lock your doors, but you really didn't.
yeah, we really didn't. Yeah, we really didn't. I mean, I had 3 teenagers wandering around here, and yeah, I'd come home and the back door would be wide open. I'm like, who is that?
Is it not even more so if you've got 3 teenagers running around that you'd want cameras?
So yeah, never a problem.
Yeah, and like Lita said, why are we just hearing about this now? Like, if you guys remember when we were covering it, it was like, and again, this may just be something they weren't telling the public, but as far as the public knew, it was like day 11 or 12 before they even talked about, at least publicly, they even talked about going to the neighbors and asking for cameras, if they had cameras or if you had any footage or anything like that. Right. Nobody's cameras worked, Carrie. It's crazy. No, they didn't lock doors. They have a ton of homeless shelters built in fish hoods in all cities there, according to a friend. Huh. Yeah, I'm not trusting no area. That's what I'm saying. It's just remarkable to me. It's like nobody had cameras. That's so strange. Here. Next one. Some of you guys may have seen this on because it was live, obviously, on Instagram. So some of you guys may have seen this, and I'm going to show this, and then I'm going to get into the other videos, like the news videos and stuff.
They're at my front door. They came back. And I'm telling them all I want is peace.
Hey man, just put your hands up.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm sorry. I love y'all. If y'all can't understand it, I'm here for y'all and trying to help y'all. I'm thinking about y'all kids and y'all babies. And that's what y'all gonna stand for. I love y'all, man. All I want is peace, and y'all gonna stand for this corruption. Hey, they back in front of my house, man. Somebody need to make some phone call. Please, please, please tell these people to leave because I'm not coming out. Please, and they didn't kick the door down. They mad I got this phone out. And they said I'm refusing because I got this phone out. I'm telling them I love them. And they want to keep coming back, trying to fight for corruption. I'm not turning myself into corruption. If y'all my people and y'all want to take a stand for me, take a stand, because that's what I'm finna do. And they running from this phone. Well, why would they run from this phone? Please tell me why they would run for this phone. Take a stand, right? Hey, you can kill a revolution, but you can't kill a revolution. So either you gonna be a stand and take a man, or you gonna live on your knees. I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees, because this world is messed up and it really playing games. They're at my front door.
Okay. So this man ran from he ran from them after they tried to stop him. He on a regular traffic. He ran from them, and then he had a standoff with SWAT.
Here, our local news with the fatal standoff in southeast Houston that played out on the suspect's social media. The standoff happened on Bell Arbor Street near Belfort this afternoon as law enforcement tried to arrest that suspect.
KPRC2 News reporter Bryce Newberry is live near that scene where we were learning the man may have been on Instagram during the standoff. Bryce.
Yeah, Keith and Lisa, we found at least 3 videos posted on social media during this hours-long standoff tonight. The 36-year-old suspect, who appears to have been posting with multiple weapons, is dead after being shot by police right near the doorway of that home. Law enforcement from multiple agencies surrounded this home on Bell Arbor for hours Monday. Inside, a 36-year-old wanted man later shot dead by a SWAT officer.
I never seen nothing like this here, man. They got every law, dogs, every machine. The bus in the house, everything.
Police are looking into reports the armed suspect posted on social media during the standoff. In posts we found, you can see police with a shield at the front door. Then we've blurred his face, but you can see at least 2 guns in a man's hands. And another screenshot from the video appears to show a large rifle. The suspect appears to tell police he's not turning himself in, and all he wants is peace. Can you tell us what kind of weapon he used? Because it appears to be a pretty large weapon that we can see on social media.
And like I said, that's part of our investigation also, right? All those facts will come out when we do release the body-worn camera.
The man barricaded himself inside the home when the Texas Attorney General's office and Precinct 7 came to serve a parole warrant Monday morning, police say. And after more than an hour of negotiating, the suspect came out of the home with what police describe as a high-powered rifle.
Unfortunately, our SWAT officer had to fire because that suspect...
See, on one of the news stations, which it wasn't Houston, which is why I went to Houston, one of the news stations said that they had tried to pull him over. So that's interesting. They say that. They said that they try to serve a parole thing. Huh.
They fired at our officer.
Shutting down the street for hours, multiple investigations are now underway to ensure the 16-year veteran of the SWAT team followed policies before opening fire on the armed man.
There's no further danger to the public. So thank God, right? Because someone coming outside with a weapon, that is very dangerous.
And tonight, police have not yet identified this suspect. The initial information we got from Precinct 7 indicated that this man may have been wanted related to a sexual assault. We are still waiting, though, for updated information from the Attorney General's office. And, of course, we'll keep you updated as soon as we find out. For now, reporting live in Southeast Houston.
Hey, hey. This one's awful. This story is just awful. They just reported on this a couple hours ago.
A Clear Lake man is now facing multiple felony charges after investigators say he locked his disabled wife inside of a bedroom of their $1 million Clear Lake home for years. Police say the woman was recently able to call for some help. Fox 26 reporter Leslie Delaspore is live outside that home with the latest on this disturbing case. Leslie.
Yeah, that's right, Caroline. So neighbors I spoke to today tell me that they're shocked. They say that this home behind me here has always looked as it does right now with the blinds closed. So they had absolutely no idea of what was going on inside. A horror story was happening inside this $1 million home on Crown Ridge Court in Clear Lake, right next to the Bay Oaks Country Club golf course. Houston police say officers responded to the home around 7 a.m. March 6th after 46-year-old Ruby Rivera Johnson called for help. Investigators say the woman told police police her husband, 46-year-old James Earl Johnson, had been locking her inside a bedroom against her will for years. She also told police she was not properly fed, sometimes given just one egg a day and dinner. Court records say the woman, who has disabilities, was confined to a bedroom for 5 years without phone access, proper nutrition, or medical care. Documents say she was finally able to call 911 after Johnson left a phone on the nightstand, but investigators say he later carried her back to bed after hanging up the call. HPD says officers were previously called to the home in November of 2025, but investigators say the wife told them the husband allegedly told her and the children to remain quiet when police arrived. Neighbors say nothing seemed out of the ordinary, describing Johnson as active in the neighborhood, even attending events like National Night Out. One trauma therapist says people with disabilities are at a greater risk for abuse, and victims in cases like this can face a very long road to healing.
You know, stories like this make me feel so compassionate and
Barbara.
heartened for the survivor in this case, the victim in this case, who's had to live with a form of abuse we call coercive control. But the wounds that are created by this form of abuse, psychological, emotional, physical, can be long-lasting and quite devastating. The victim finally sought some help, which led to some physical violence. But make no mistake, if somebody's being held against their will for 5+ years, this abuse was long-standing. But the road to recovery can be long and hard, but help is available through counseling, through support. There is a lot of help out there. Fortunately, there is a lot of help available in our communities. There are resources, counselors, domestic violence organizations, hotlines. So if you see something that doesn't look altogether normal, might be suspicious, let them know, listen, and say, you know what, here's some resources.
Investigators say the case remains under investigation. Now, Johnson's bail was set at $100,000, but court documents do show that at this time he has bonded out. Reporting live from Clear Lake, Leslie Delaspore, Fox 26.
I hope that she's safe. Clearly, he's already bonded out. But I'm praying that that they put a no contact order, a restraining order in place, which usually does happen, especially if the victim is cooperative. So I'm hoping, and there's children involved clearly because they said children. So I would pray for the sake of the woman and the children that there are some things in place and she now has support, someone there with her and the children, someone with a phone. She has a phone to where she could call. But sadly, sometimes paper is not enough. We've all seen that. And this is the most dangerous time for her when she leaves him. So I pray she doesn't go back to that and doesn't allow him to come back in the home. But that's hard. 5+ years completely cut off from everybody. Can you imagine? Awful. Oh. Thanks, guys, for stopping by and watching this episode of True Crime. If you haven't hit that like button, go ahead and do that. Appreciate it. And if you're watching this on the replay, #replay.
We're in New Jersey, though, and neighbors along Fairwood Drive in Berkeley Township say they woke up to the sound of gunshots around 5 this morning.
And when police arrived, they found 3 people shot, killed by a gunman who then turned the gun on himself. 3 children in the house were not injured.
New Jersey reporter Tony Yates live at the scene with new information and how all of this unfolded. Tony?
We are in the Bayville section of Berkeley Township. It's a beachside community. We've met a lot of retirees out here. They tell us it's usually a very quiet, very peaceful place, except for this morning when all of that gunfire woke them up.
I heard around probably 4:45, some like about 6 shots, like bang, 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 bang. But then at around 5:04 is when I really heard bang, 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 like it was gonna come through to my house, and I didn't know where it was coming from.
In fact, Ashley's doorbell camera recorded the sound of the gunfire, the loudest.
It's unbelievable. I pray for the families and the victims involved.
Police spent all afternoon at the home on Fairwood Drive, where the Ocean County Prosecutor's Office says the suspect fatally shot 3 people before turning the gun on himself, taking his own life. Gunfire before dawn woke up several nearby neighbors.
We heard multiple gunshots, and I mean, I thought it was fireworks, to be honest with you. Turning out to what it is really unfortunate, you know.
Our law enforcement sources tell us this was a couple going through a divorce or recently divorced, that the husband came to his in-laws' home, shot them and his ex-wife dead, again turning the gun on himself. He was rushed to Community Medical Center in Toms River, where hours later he was pronounced dead. We are hearing that the couple's children are in police protection.
We don't really know the people over there, but it's so sad to hear. You know, that it's very tragic.
It's a sad situation because this is not a town that you expect any of this to happen.
And late this afternoon, the Ocean County Prosecutor's Office did release the names of those who were involved. The homeowners were 61-year-old Alan Russell, his wife 60-year-old Michelle Russell, and their 38-year-old daughter Deanna Stewart. And her ex-husband, the suspected shooter, was 37-year-old Vaughn Stewart of Maplewood, New Jersey. And so with this tragic ending, there are now 3 siblings who must spend the rest of their lives without the people who love them most. For now, we're live in the Bay.
Terrible. I mean, they're going through a divorce. The daughter moves home to live with her parents, and he shows up. Yeah, well, in certain states, Colette, you can. He shows up and takes them all out, and the kids probably in bed. But I mean, if all the neighbors got woke up, you know the kids got woke up. Can you imagine hearing that and with no protection on your ears or anything? You're in a small house. I mean, that sound would be deafening, and it was multiple, obviously. Um, Yes, more and more. That's what we were I meant to look those stats up and I completely forgot. But that's what we were talking about, Carrie. Are we seeing it more? Is it just being broadcast more or is it happening more? And I forgot to look those up, of course. This was a crazy this was a crazy one right here. Like, well, what is up with this? Yeah, very much coward for doing that to his children, taking away their mother, their grandparents, and the dad. I mean, they lost everybody.
Sam and Lauren, we're learning new information about this alleged suspect. She may have been a deranged fan. Right now, it's sort of a chaotic scene because it's a one-way street where Rihanna lives. Right now, police have asked us to move, and they have shut down the road so they can do additional analysis. Now, there is a Facebook page matching the suspect's description with bizarre posts about not just Rihanna, but also singer Cardi B. Take a look above. Sky 5 is overhead where the Grammy winner's mansion is. It's been quiet all morning until about the last hour, where we've seen members of her team coming and going from her home, even loading up a van full of suitcases and a bassinet, perhaps the family officially leaving for now. This all happened around 1:15 yesterday. Police responding quickly to this upscale neighborhood where the singer and businesswoman lives with her partner, A$AP Rocky, and their 3 children. On one side of the gate inside, you can see those bullet holes, but on the outside, they did cover it up with a piece of sheet. If you look here, this is the alleged... But first, this is the alleged suspect, according to TMZ, identified as 35-year-old Ivana Lisette Ortiz, who fired those shots toward the star's home and then took off. And again, multiple Facebook posts saying derogatory things, not just about Rihanna, but also Kim Kardashian, Ortiz allegedly fired multiple shots into the fence in front of the home, and you can see those bullet holes right there covered with the sheet. Then again, multiple people coming and going from the home this afternoon. According to the LA Times, a bullet may have hit the mansion and that Rihanna was home at the time, although it's not clear if anyone else was. Here is the 911 call that came in around 1:15 yesterday.
Two vehicles, a white Tesla, left northbound on Coldwater. Suspect vehicle is a 2023 to 2024 Tesla four-door with paper license plate.
According to dispatch audio, the suspect left the home in that Tesla, but she was located and arrested. The LAPD saying a weapon was found, but why she may have opened fire, that remains a mystery because all the stars and celebrities in this popular tourist area. And you can see we saw a tourist bus coming and going early this morning, and we spoke to one of those drivers.
We know about in the past that she had some issues here at her other home, and we were very sad to hear about what happened. But I'm also a little bit disappointed that her security didn't shoot back at the person. And we just wish for her safety, and we just wish that these people would respect the celebrities, and we're praying for her peace.
And right now, Ortiz is in custody, and she is being held on a $10 million bail.
Details tonight about the shooting outside of the home of Rihanna and A$AP Rocky. A 35-year-old woman from Orlando, Florida, is now in custody and booked for attempted murder. We have live team coverage in place for you tonight. Let's begin with NBC4's Alex was there live outside of Rihanna's home there in Beverly Crest. Alex.
Yeah, Michael, thankfully no one was hurt here. Police say Ivana Ortiz fired 7 to 9 rounds using an AR-15 style rifle at Rihanna's property. They fired while Rihanna, A$AP Rocky, and their 3 kids were inside the home. Now, the police made a quick arrest here, but I want to step out of the way because their investigation continues. You can see the road is still blocked off right now as they look into this shooting at the home of one of the most famous families in the world. Today, LAPD detectives returned to Rihanna and A$AP Rocky's home, one day after police say 35-year-old Ivana Ortiz fired gunshots at the pop star's property.
Our criminalists are going to be doing some trajectory analysis. They're going to need the street.
NBC4 investigates learned Rihanna, A$AP Rocky, and their 3 kids were inside their Beverly Crest home when the shooting took place around 1:30 Sunday afternoon. Police say Ortiz fired gunshots at the front gate using an AR-15 style rifle.
Westfield unit, shooting just occurred. 10 gunshots fired from the vehicle at the gate.
LAPD arrested Ortiz 3 miles away at the Sherman Oaks Galleria. Back at Rihanna's Beverly Crest home, a Hollywood tour van stopped by to check it out.
First of all, we love Rihanna. We pray for her, and we pray for all the celebrities that they're respected, and we do respect their privacy, even though we drive past their houses.
Tourists on board were surprised to learn the news.
To come and invade their privacy, their safety, and their private space, it's just horrific. I think people should be respected at their home.
After the shooting,
As they're in a damn tourist bus going around their said home. What? Oh my God. I can't believe they even said that.
Sunday, News Chopper 4 shot video of several bullet holes on the gate outside the
Right,
home.
Kyla?
By this morning, those bullet holes were covered up. And as you look live here in Beverly Crest, the road where this shooting happened, again, the police continue their investigation right now. We still don't know the motive, if this was random or if this person specifically targeted A$AP Rocky or Rihanna. We did reach out to reps for both of them, but we didn't hear back. We did not see them out in the neighborhood today. But for more on the woman who was arrested here, I want to send it over to my colleague, Karma Dickerson.
Yes, Alex, coming to you from the Sherman Oaks Gallery, and that's about 5 miles from where you are right now. Thousands of miles from where the woman was recently living in Orlando. Now, it's not clear, as you mentioned, why exactly she found herself allegedly at the home of Rihanna, A$AP Rocky, and their children, allegedly firing into that home. But it is clear that, at least in some context, Rihanna was on her radar.
This vehicle's a white Tesla, left northbound on Coldwater.
Bullet holes from a rifle in the megastar's front gate.
10 gunshots fired from the vehicle at the gate.
A manhunt, then an arrest outside of a popular mall. The details surrounding the Sunday afternoon shooting at superstar Rihanna's home are worrisome and bizarre.
Police say this Florida woman, Ivana Ortiz, is responsible.
You ain't messing with me.
That's her in a social media video February 27th. What prompted Ortiz to allegedly shoot at the entertainment, beauty, and fashion mogul's house while she, her partner A$AP Rocky, and their 3 children were home is unclear. But according to some of Ortiz's social media accounts, Rihanna was on her radar. Ortiz referencing or tagging her in several disparaging social media posts.
This is going in the camera. This is going online.
Though the meaning wasn't always clear, she also made negative references to Cardi B and Kim Kardashian. She doesn't appear to have been in LA for long. The 35-year-old is a speech pathologist according to her social media profiles. She lists herself as the owner of Orlando Speech Clinic. A company and woman of the same name have an active registration on a Medicaid provider system. A February 19 social media post seems to show her at work in that job. However, she also has 2023 arrests in Florida, including one for misdemeanor domestic violence battery. According to the police affidavit, the officer found Ortiz to be the aggressor.
Now that Ortiz, the accused in this case, is being held on over $10 million bail. Did reach out to the LA County DA's office to find out if she has been charged formally. Earlier today, they said they had not yet received the investigation from the police. Reporting live from Sherman Oaks, Carmen Dickerson, NBC4 News.
Crazy, Tonight at 6, a Detroit woman has a gun pulled on her after getting her hair done. It was all about a dispute over the service, and some of it was caught on video. Fox News' Camille Amiri spoke to the woman about the ordeal. She joins us now live with more. Camille, this is definitely something I haven't heard before.
Yeah, this is a wild story. So Robin Phillips saw an ad for a discount at this hairdresser's house. So she decided to take advantage of that discount. She booked an appointment for her and her daughter to get their hair done. When the services were over, the hairdresser said she was charging her more money. It wasn't what the discount price was advertised as. Robin Phillips said she ended up paying the higher price anyway. And then she says this happened. Take a look.
She had the scissors in her hand. She already had the scissors in her hand. She says, if you're not going to pay me, then I'm going to cut your daughter's hair. She just kept waving the scissors around like this. And I was just like, just basically trying to calm her down, like, please do not do that. So she runs upstairs and she grabs an AR. So I didn't know that's what she was going up there to grab. So she went upstairs to grab the AR. She's like, you're not leaving out of here until you run me my money. So I did just that, and she's still going on and on about it. I want more money. I want more money. So I'm just like, here, just take it. I gave her basically everything that I had.
Big gun, hoe! Yep. Big gun! Big gun!
That's just crazy.
And say,
look at him giving money.
Don't do that.
I'm just distraught right now because she did all of this for what, when we could have just simply just handled it, like adults. I mean, she said, I will shoot you, I will bury you over $10. She was saying that, yeah. She said, I will bury you over $10. So we pushed past her. We had to get out of there.
That's great.
Okay, so after this whole thing, Robin and her boyfriend and her daughter went to the police department, one of the precincts, and filed a report, showed that video, not the part that we showed you, but the actual face of the woman, showed the police the video of the woman, told them where she was located, filed a report, and she said she's really hoping, she wants to tell this story, but she really hopes that people will learn from it and hopes that this will not happen to them. Of course, it's going to be interesting to see if police do arrest this woman, this hairdresser, and to see what happens next. Reporting live in Detroit, Camille Amiri, Fox 2 News.
That's crazy that that they didn't just go arrest her immediately. Like, what? I just don't understand it. Okay, I should have just let it play. Damn it. Hold on. I always get scared it's going to go to the wrong video next or something.
I mean, the difficulty of these kind of home offices, so to speak, when
She
you're
went
doing business
upstairs
out of
to
your
get
home.
an AR, that big ass gun she was holding. When she went upstairs, why didn't they just get the hell out of there? Is my thing. And it was over money, and then they're like, "Well, we could have just handled it like adults, but you weren't willing to give her money, so you couldn't have handled it as adults." As soon as they didn't want to pay the promoted, which they should have been paying whatever the ad was, whatever the discounted price was, that's what they should have been paying. But when she said, "No, it's this much," and they refused to pay that much, she went upstairs and got the AR. My ass would have been out. I guess, CP.
Situation not just for the person working in the home in some cases, but also customers.
Yeah, and the thing is that the gun, I mean, you saw it in the photograph, right? It looks real.
Yeah.
Some of the comments on social media, they're saying that this is a pellet gun. Robin says she doesn't care what it was. When she had a gun pointed to her, that's all she could think was that it was real. So a lot more to come on this one. Ruth, back to you.
Of course there will be, we imagine. Thanks so much, Camila Mary, for us live tonight. Thank you. Well, we're seeing them everywhere right now.
So I don't know. It looked pretty damn real to me. But what are your, my thing is I'm not taking the chance. Even if I thought, now if it had a big orange circle around the end, then I may think, oh, that's some bullshit. But if it didn't have that orange circle around the front at the bottom, oh, I'm thinking that's real. I'm not taking chances of thinking, oh, it's a pellet gun. And I don't want to get hit with a pellet either. The fuck? But I'm just saying, like, if it doesn't have that orange circle, I'm gone. Or whatever. That guy was handing her money, just throwing money. Like, here, what do you need?
But the potholes and rough roads are.
And boy, I don't think anywhere, I don't think I'm going to anybody's house. What do y'all think? Would you guys go to someone's house for them to do your hair if you've never met them before? Would you go to a house salon or a salon in the house? Let me know. I know some people would do it. I just feel like that's their territory, their space at someone's home. Like for me, it's a no.
Alarming news here. Newly released body cam video shows the moment Florida deputies found a missing Gastonia teen. Authorities say that the young girl was in the car with a much older man. Queen City News reporter Matt Stell shows us more of that released video and also has what those Florida sheriff's deputies are now saying about the driver's arrest.
Young lady, you wouldn't happen to have your ID on you, would you?
No, sir, that's my little cousin.
That's your cousin?
This is the moment when authorities say 37-year-old Joshua McGrath from Charlotte is pulled over and caught in his car with a 16-year-old in Crescent City, Florida on Sunday.
Your name?
Huh?
Your name?
My name is Brandy Lewis.
Brandy Lewis?
But as you'll hear in this body cam video, the deputy then realizes that's a fake name.
Here's the thing. Right, the name and the information you gave me doesn't come back to anything. So I need you to write your full name and your birthday right on this pad of paper for me, okay?
The Putnam County Sheriff's Office says the teenager, who they later learned had been reported missing from Gastonia on February 16th, then gave the deputy a wrong date of birth, which would have made her only 12 years old.
So you could see all the triggers starting to fire and deputy tuning, knowing something wasn't right. And he immediately started to dig into what was going on there, which is what we do best.
The sheriff's office believes the teen first met McGrath online. During the stop, McGrath then changes his story and now calls the girl a friend after initially telling the deputy that she was his cousin.
I met her in Charlotte.
In Charlotte. How old are you? You're 37, and you're friends with a 16-year-old girl?
McGrath later claims that the teenager told him that she was actually 19 and that the two of them were heading to Orlando to find some arcades.
Our indications indicate that they were staying probably in another state, not in the state of Florida, and didn't come into Florida until Sunday when we intercepted them.
Deputies would eventually take McGrath into custody and search his car, finding counterfeit money and marijuana inside.
And I've only seen this just a couple of times in my 23-year career. And it was fortunate that our deputy, who was, even though it was a minor traffic infraction, encountered such a what could have potentially been a horrific case.
The Putnam County Sheriff's Office says the teenage girl is still in custody of the Florida Department of Children and Families until she's reunited back with her mother. So far, McGrath is charged with drug possession, interference with custody of a minor, and could face federal charges as well. In Charlotte, Matt Stell, Queen City News.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City.
That's a crazy one. And I'm sure, like, they all talk about, like Maybe and them.
News on your smart TV's app.
They all talk about, oh, these fast little girls, and we was all with over men that were, not that were adults or whatever. Same thing. I'm sure that little girl thought that was her choice. She was doing it. She was big enough to be with a grown man. All of those things. But that's when it turns into him being the adult and him being a freaking predator. That's when he says no, even if she was cool with it.
App Store.
That's disgusting. Come on now.
Tonight, national renowned civil rights attorney Ben Crump and his legal team, joined by Dominique Moody, is calling out child welfare agencies and questioning how warning signs were missed before her death. So Dominique Moody, she was only 6-year-old when she was found in December, unresponsive in a home that the people there had a legal guardianship of her. So authorities are asking, what happened here? Her family and his legal team. Tonight, national renowned December, unresponsive in a home that the people there had a legal guardianship of her. So authorities are asking, what happened here? Her family are wondering what happened. And so is a civil rights attorney, Ben Crump. Now we know she had multiple signs of injuries, abuse, and severe neglect. 3 people have been arrested. Jesse Pierre has been following this case extensively. And Jesse, what did her parents have to say today and Ben Crump?
Okay, hold on. This isn't the right video. This isn't the right one. Hold on one second. Okay. This is a case about a 6-year-old little girl who was found in December unresponsive. And so a civil rights attorney is getting involved with it.
The country's most recognizable attorneys has entered the fight for justice in the brutal death of a girl from Charlotte.
Our investigative team has been on this case since the very beginning, exclusively uncovering repeated failures by those responsible for child safety in Mecklenburg County.
Investigative reporter Naomi Coles has more on today's developments, and she joins us here live in the studio. Naomi.
John, civil rights attorney Ben Crump is calling on the county for action. I spoke to Crump's team today, and I'm told that it was our investigation into this child's death that brought them here to town.
I just want to say my baby didn't deserve what was done to her.
5 reports from Child Protective Services, nearly 50 calls for police.
This is evidence of a system failure.
Our reporting has shown how none of it ultimately made a difference before Dominique Moody's brutal death in December.
The county, Mecklenburg County, owed a duty to this little child, Dominique Moody. The state of North Carolina owed a duty to this little child, Dominique Moody.
Dominique was 6 years old, about to turn 7.
Dominique's great uncle and a funeral director was at Monday morning's press conference with Ben Crump.
She stood only 3 feet tall, weighed 27 pounds.
J. Vernon Peterson has told our team before about the shocking discoveries his embalming team discovered on her body that dated back years.
She fought to get out of that crate. The bruises on her body were from head to toe. There were broken bones.
While 3 women have been charged in Dominique's death, Mecklenburg County's role at the home before she died continues to be shrouded in secrecy. They've denied our request for information that the law requires them to release, denials that we continue to push back on.
I'm afraid if the media wasn't doing their job so thoroughly that this would have simply been swept under the rug.
Naomi Coles joining us at the desk now, and no matter how many times we talk about this case, it's just heartbreaking every single time. So I feel like I know the answer to this question, but why have you been pursuing this case so thoroughly?
The stakes couldn't be higher. This isn't just about Dominique Moody. It is, but it isn't. It's about every child in Mecklenburg County that we pay the Mecklenburg County Social Services Department to care for and to provide safety for. We know this home was on their radar. We know that it was on their radar not once, but 5 times. This is what we're paying them to do, the taxpayers of Mecklenburg County, and this isn't just about her. This is about every child who is potentially in danger that they are responsible for intervening for.
And so they never pulled her from that home despite knowing
5
something.
CPS reports,
So
absolutely.
What is the county saying about all this?
Well, they've changed their story a few times. They've said at first that the laws prevent them from commenting at all on their involvement. I went and found a law that said differently in North Carolina, where they are required to release certain information. And where we're at right now is they have denied that request again. We are still evaluating that claim. They claim that the ongoing criminal case is preventing them from releasing the information. We believe that stance is inconsistent with how they've handled requests in the past and how other counties are interpreting this law right now. So it's a little bit of a waiting game. We are very much still on this.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here, because someone or something needs to be held responsible.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of lackadaisical something going on here. It's just a shame. Such
It's
a sad,
heartbreaking.
sad thing. It really is.
Absolutely.
Terrible. I mean, look at that house. The roof was falling in. I just don't. It seems like they take children for less. I just don't get it. It just doesn't make sense to me. All right, I'm not gonna watch. I'm not gonna play all of this, but I do want to play the beginning with the update.
Is reported missing in Alabama, leading to an intense, weeks-long manhunt.
This investigation involved approximately 8,000 combined working hours, with personnel often working 16 to 18 hours per day.
And this week, a devastating breakthrough.
The evidence shows that Adrienne Reed killed her 2-year-old daughter. She literally threw her in the trash.
As the young girl's mom remains behind bars, investigators continue to piece together what went wrong.
And then she engaged in a 53-day-long campaign of deceit, lies, manipulation, and as previously stated, destruction of evidence, before she finally made her false report on February 16th.
We're on the case presented. We're talking straight to my bank. Upside's frequent user Allen on your first tank of gas. A case spanning nearly a month reaches a major breakthrough.
So they are saying that she unalived Genesis. We've talked about this story before, the missing little girl. So this is the update. She basically went 53 days after she unalived her before she made the report. And then we all thought she was missing. We're all looking for her, and she threw her away. It's terrible. I mean, it's an awful update.
Adrienne Reed of Enterprise, Alabama, is now charged with capital
Right,
murder
Kyla?
and abuse of a corpse in the death of her own 2-year-old daughter, Genesis Reed. She was reported missing back in February. Now, Adrienne Reed was already in jail when these charges came through on Monday, but it was for a different reason. And when you look at how things turned out so far, it just makes the situation look that much worse for the 33-year-old mom. And there's still missing pieces to the puzzle here. Will an alleged motive ever come to light? Genesis is still missing. Will we ever find her body? And why did it take weeks for her disappearance to reach the attention of law enforcement? So let's break down what we know thus far. This case began back on February 16th when police in Enterprise, Alabama received a chilling report.
Adrienne Reed reported her child missing at 3:10 a.m., stating that Genesis walked out the front door.
As horrible as it sounds, this type of situation could happen to anyone. A small child gaining access to an unlocked door and then wandering off in a matter of seconds. But in this particular case, police were suspicious right off the bat.
A thorough precursor search of the area did not result in any helpful leads of where Genesis had gone, and inconsistencies in Adrienne's story resulted in more intense investigation. The father of Genesis, grandmother, other family members, and those that knew Genesis were contacted through the investigation and had been very cooperative with law enforcement. Mariah, a person of interest but not a suspect, was generated through Adrienne, who gave very little to no assistance in how to contact Mariah.
In a missing persons case, especially involving a young child, it is natural for investigators to speak with family members. And while most of them were reportedly cooperative with the situation, the police said that Adrienne had inconsistencies in her story. and she gave a lead to a suspect with no way to contact them.
Although we are still investigating the whereabouts of Genesis, we are confident that Adrian made a false report that Genesis walked out of his apartment at 3 a.m. in the morning. Through the investigation, there's enough probable cause that has led to the arrest of Adrian. Adrian Reed has been charged with false reporting to local law enforcement authorities, a Class C felony due to the report alleging imminent danger to a person.
A day after Adrian reports her daughter missing, she is arrested and booked into the Coffee County Jail on a false reporting charge with an allegation of imminent injury to a person. And at this point, police say Adrian has become a primary suspect in the 2-year-old's disappearance, but no additional charges were filed at that time. So 2 days after that report comes in, we're at February 18th, Adrian made her first appearance in court.
During the hearing, Judge Wilson heard testimony from an Enterprise Police Department detective regarding facts and circumstances related to the current investigation into the disappearance of Genesis Reed. Based on the testimony, the state argued that Adrian Reed is the only known suspect in the disappearance of Genesis Reed. Adrian Reed has hidden and or destroyed evidence relevant to this case, and Adrian Reed is a flight risk should she be released from custody. The standard bond schedule for a Class C felony in Alabama is $2,500 to $15,000. The state argued that the bond schedule amounts in this matter for a Class C felony are wholly unreasonable. We asked for a $1 million cash-only bond.
The judge grants the prosecutor's request, and Adrian is held in jail on a $1 million cash-only bond. That is a massive amount of money for a Class C felony in Alabama. But like the prosecutor said, when you look at the circumstances in this case, there's no one else investigators are looking at when it comes to the disappearance of Genesis. And there is still a lot to uncover, including when Genesis actually disappeared.
We are specifically requesting that anyone who had any type of personal relationship or social interaction with Adrian Reed between December 24th, 2025 and February 16th, 2026, please come forward.
Remember, Genesis was reported missing on February 16th, but now police are asking for information spanning back to December. According to a Facebook post from the Enterprise Police Department, quote, as the investigation progressed, detectives conducted multiple interviews and determined the child had not been seen in several weeks. Now, at this point, the situation is becoming even more critical. When Adrian originally reported her daughter missing, she allegedly vanished that same morning. But it's now alleged by police that Genesis could have been missing for a month and a half. And that is a much larger window of time and one that could severely impact this investigation.
Please know that we continue to investigate every lead and pursue every possible avenue in our efforts to bring resolution to this case. This includes ongoing witness interviews as well as detailed analysis of electronic devices and surveillance footage. Our commitment to locating Genesis and bringing her home remains unwavering. If you have any information about Genesis, or you have Genesis, now's the time to come forward. Our investigators are methodically reviewing every lead. If you're involved in this case and choose not to come forward, be assured that we will identify you and pursue prosecution to the fullest extent of the law.
The search for 2-year-old Genesis continued for several weeks with the assistance of multiple agencies, including the FBI, the U.S. Marshals, Alabama Law Enforcement Agency, and even neighboring states. And despite the massive search effort, she was still nowhere to be found. But on Monday, which, by the way, was Genesis's 3rd birthday, police held a news conference and announced a major breakthrough in this case.
March 9th, 2026, Adrian Reed, the mother of Genesis Reed, had been formally charged with capital murder for the killing of a child under the age of 14 and abuse of a corpse.
In some ways, you could describe this part of the investigation as bittersweet from law enforcement, because it is safe to say in a case like this, the hope is that Genesis would be found alive. But when you factor in her mom's arrest, the alleged disappearance timeline spanning back further than anticipated, and a large-scale search with no results, Genesis's death was an unfortunate possibility. So, how did law enforcement reach this conclusion? The Enterprise Police Chief shared the chilling details.
As investigators continued to follow leads and interview witnesses, information emerged indicating that Genesis had not been seen with Adrian since Christmas Day. Through the careful and methodical work of investigators, we have reached a heartbreaking and horrific conclusion that her mother, her caretaker, the one that should have been there to keep her safe, willfully murdered Genesis and placed her in a duffel bag and discarded her in a dumpster. Today, March 9th, 2026, Adrian Reed, the mother of Genesis Reed, had been formally charged with capital murder for the killing of a child under the age of 14 and abuse of a corpse. The last confirmed contact with family members occurred on December 25th, when Genesis visited relatives in Dothan for the Christmas holiday. That evening, she was returned to her residence in Enterprise with her mother. During the investigations, detectives obtained camera footage from a neighboring residence showing Adrian walking toward the apartment complex dumpster with a rolling duffel bag at approximately 11:30 p.m. on Christmas night. 2 days later, additional footage captured Adrian returning to the dumpster area carrying toys and other belongings belonging to Genesis.
Now, the allegations in this case that we've just learned this week, they're horrific. An alleged murder on Christmas night of a 2-year-old child reportedly thrown in a dumpster by her own mom. And that same mom then reports her missing nearly 7 weeks later. It's hard to imagine. But remember, Adrian Reed is presumed innocent until guilty. And there is a big piece of the puzzle still missing.
The investigation is far from over. Our focus now turns to bringing Genesis home to the community that loved her. The search and rescue process will be long and difficult, but our resolve remains unwavering. We will continue working until Genesis is brought home.
This landfill is over 100 acres of working space, but that does not deter us in any form or fashion. So as the investigation continued, we can proudly say that we narrowed it down between 200 and 100 feet square. I want to ask the public to keep praying for us. This is going to take a while. I'm going to ask you for your patience. We are determined to find her.
According to Coffee County Sheriff Scott Bird, the excavation process in the Coffee County landfill will begin this week with assistance from experts in Atlanta. But Bird said the search could take up to 10 weeks or more, especially given the nature of how many times the alleged duffel bag carrying Genesis's body was compacted before it reached the landfill. Now, finding Genesis's remains, it is important because it gives investigators a better understanding, potentially, of how she died, when she died, and above all, it gives that confirmation that she did die beyond circumstantial evidence in this case. So we're going to continue monitoring this search for Genesis closely, and we'll give you the latest information when it comes in. But in the meantime, when it comes to the legal process for Adrian,
I don't know. I don't know if she was part of an indigenous tribe or not, but I just kept wondering who he was because he was in several of the press conferences. Like he was standing there and he didn't say anything. At first, I thought maybe he was like an interpreter, like a sign language or something, but he just stood there. So I don't know. I'm wondering if he was related to the little girl. Maybe that was her grandfather. I don't know. I'm gonna have to find out who he is. Yes, thank goodness they can get justice by charging the mom because they have that surveillance video of her. And they have, people have said she wasn't around. We've not seen her since Christmas. So, of course, they're going to go. They probably started with Christmas because that's the last time somebody saw her besides the mother. So, they probably started with Christmas and boom, found it right away. Can you believe he did speak? Oh, I didn't see it. Um, can you believe Christmas Day? Can you imagine how excited a little 2-year-old is on Christmas Day? And you have the best day ever. You're with your family, all these things, and then your mother does that to you and throws you in a friggin' dumpster in a duffel bag with all your toys. Uh, it's another type of evil right there. All right, let me show you this one last video. Last case that I saw. Oh. It's definitely a sad one too. I mean, I think they're all sad, but all sad for sure. Thank God for those cameras, right? She probably thought because she waited so much, because she waited so long before she did anything, like before she made the report, she probably wanted to wait. That was probably in her mind about the landfill, the dumpsters, the cameras. She probably thought everything had recorded over, that there was, she waited almost 2 months before she even reported her missing. So I'm assuming that was in her mind. Like, oh, well, she's in the dumpster, she'll have to go to landfill because a lot of people feel like if they don't find a body, they don't have a case. This is definitely a sad one. If you've seen it, no spoilers.
So I went for my pre-op today. My doctor is Dr. Torque in Cincinnati, and when I tell you this guy is amazing, he is amazing. I see why people come from all over the country because he has a skill set that is definitely not a Midwest doctor at all. So I'm super impressed with him, and I think that liking your surgeon and trusting your surgeon, I think that makes a big difference in this process, because this is a big operation that I'm getting ready to do. And there's some vulnerability to all of this too. I am going to have to trust people to take care of me, and that's really scary to me. My surgery is next week. I can officially say it's next week. Next Tuesday, I will go to Dr. Torque's office and he will mark me up. And Wednesday morning, I will have my plastic surgery. And I am really excited. I'm really nervous. It's taken a long time to get here. I am training for this like a marathon. My husband has been supportive. I've got great girlfriends. I've got a good support system. I'm nervous about being the patient. I've always been the caregiver. So this time next week will be my first day of recovery, and I have just a range of emotions. 1 minute I am super excited and I'm like, I've got this. And ultimately I do know that I have this, but I'm nervous too. I don't like pain medicine. I don't like pain. Who likes pain? Nobody likes pain. But I'm nervous about the pain. So if you've had this procedure and you want to give me some tips, that would be amazing. I would appreciate that. I've got a good support system. I've got a lot. My husband's going to be with me for the first 5 days. Thank God. And then my girlfriends are all jumping on board. So I am super appreciative of that, because it's not easy for me to humble myself, but I'm going to need help, and I'm going to just thank my people that are stepping up for me, because this is a big deal.
I had to cut the music out. Yeah, this one broke my heart too.
Okay, here it is. It's my turn. I feel a big range of emotions, but mostly it is absolutely excitement and gratitude. My husband's here. I've got a great support team, and I'm really looking forward to this next chapter. If you're a praying person, I will absolutely take your prayers. I'm getting closer. They're getting ready to do my IVs, and they're asking all the questions, and I'm starting to get so many incredible messages from you guys. Please pray. I know it's going to be great, and I've waited a really long time for this. I'm in good hands. I know God's got my back, and let's do this.
Family is grieving as a 47-year-old woman is now in hospice after a tummy tuck took a tragic turn.
Rachel Tussey documented the days leading up to her surgery to help other women who might be contemplating a similar procedure.
Then a few days ago, her husband posted to her TikTok with an update no one expected.
Yeah, Alexis Martin joins us after speaking with her family. She was very active on TikTok throughout this entire experience, correct?
That's right, Tricia. She was posting nearly every day leading up to her surgery. This was the morning of her surgery. And right now, Rachel's husband and her family are dealing with a lot emotionally and legally. I spoke with them today, and they gave me permission to use Rachel's TikTok videos to now tell this story and bring awareness to what happened until they're able to sit down with me and do so themselves. They tell me they have obtained a lawyer, but we are not naming the doctor right now because no legal action has been taken yet.
pray. I know it's going to be great, and I've waited a really long time for this. I'm in good hands. I know God's got my back, and let's do this.
Somebody dropped the ball.
Rachel Tussey documenting on TikTok as she prepared to get a tummy tuck, a surgery she was very transparent about on social media, speaking about her excitement.
I'm only 47, and I think I still have a lot of life to live. And I am so excited to do this for myself.
While also opening up about some hesitations.
I'm nervous too. I don't like pain medicine. I don't like pain. Who likes pain? Nobody likes pain.
Last Wednesday, the morning of Tussey's surgery, she posted an update ahead of the procedure. Days later, her husband, Jeremy Tussey, made a video posted to the account, shocking everyone who had followed along with Rachel's journey. He describes first speaking with the doctor after the surgery.
She assured me the surgery went great, so he was heading home.
Jeremy goes on to say the nurses asked about Rachel's pain.
The girl said, "Oh, I was just checking because a few minutes ago I gave you your pain med, which was 0.5 Dilaudid and 150 fentanyl."
A few moments later, he noticed something wasn't right. Her face had lost color.
I got down in her ear and hollered Rachel a couple times. No answer.
That's when he says the nurse started CPR.
Well, she put the bag on her and pumped it once or twice. The bag wasn't sealed around her face, and then she walked away and grabbed some Narcan.
Jeremy says they called the doctor back.
He assessed the situation and made sure told him to call 911.
Jeremy says they were taken to Bethesda North by ambulance, where he says doctors told him Rachel was without oxygen for 6 minutes. Now, Jeremy says Rachel's brain dead. Today, her son told me over the phone she was pulled off life support yesterday and is being transferred to hospice. I reached out to the doctor about these allegations yesterday with an email. I sent a follow-up today and called his office. So far, I have not received any comment from him regarding the situation. Now, a GoFundMe has been set up for Rachel's family.
I know y'all know that Rachel went into surgery Wednesday morning. We got there at 6 o'clock. They rolled her back for surgery at 7:30. I sat out in the parking lot all day waiting on her to finish, and I got a phone call about 5:45 that I could come in to the recovery room. On my way in, I stopped and spoke with the doctor for a few minutes. He assured me the surgery went great, so he was heading home. Well, as he left, I could hear Rachel talking in the background, asking for me. So I went to the room. Well, on my way to the room, I noticed there was nobody else in the facility. It was locked down. It was closed. There was a cleaning crew of, I think, 2 people sweeping the hallway. And when I stepped in the room, there was one nurse in there with Rachel. And then there was another nurse that had stepped in, but she was going back and forth in and out of the door. So anyway, Rachel could hear me talk, so she heard my voice. I stepped around to the side of the bed and touched her arm, and she knew it was me touching her. Well, next thing you know,
So she was awake after surgery. In recovery, she was awake. The nurse gave her pain meds. And I know people freak out over when they hear fentanyl. They just immediately assume that it was the fentanyl. But zero point 0.5 of Dilaudid and 150 micrograms of fentanyl is not uncommon. Like, for instance, I've had a 90-year-old patient who broke their hip, and I've given them 200 micrograms of fentanyl, because it usually comes, one vial is 100 micrograms. And the Dilaudid, same, given 2 milligrams. There's usually 2 milligrams in a vial of Dilaudid, at least in the ER, like, given at IV. So that medication to me is not what happened. Also, the nurse gave her Narcan, and it didn't do anything. In my opinion, I feel like if it was the meds, the Narcan would have pulled her out of it. In my opinion, the way he talks about that she went white, and just the way he talks about it, I feel like there may have been some type of internal bleeding, or she was hemorrhaging, or something was going on inside of her. I am hoping, I'm sure since they're already talking about a lawsuit, I would assume she's going to get an autopsy. So I'm curious about what actually happened inside her body. Yeah, the Narcan. Yeah, she Narcaned her thinking maybe that was it, and obviously that wasn't it, in my opinion. Um, yeah.
The one girl that
Now maybe it was. Maybe she was allergic. Maybe she had a bad reaction. Whatever. But that much medicine, and again, I know people freak out at fentanyl, but we do use it a lot for pain.
was outside the room walked in and asked her, said,
I don't
how's your
know,
pain?
Bates.
Rachel kind of mumbled. Well,
Oh,
the
thank
girl
you,
said, oh, I
Nicholas.
was just checking because a few minutes ago I gave you your pain med,
Right,
which was
Teresa.
0.5 Dilaudid and 150 fentanyl. Well, me and the other nurses talking, because Rachel had told them when she met me what age, so just for bullshitting. Well, as we're doing that, next thing you know, I look down and her face is off color, white. I assumed it was from the surgery, you know, lack of blood. But anyway, I said, Rachel, and she didn't answer. Well, the one nurse in the room said, Rachel, no answer. I got down in her ear and hollered Rachel a couple times, no answer. Next thing you know, the nurse starts with the knuckles to the sternum. But it was kind of weird to me because it didn't seem like much sense of urgency with her lips being blue. Then she reached and grabbed the bag. Well, she put the bag on her.
So he feels like it was the nurse not acting enough because she was 6 minutes without oxygen. Shout out to Nicholas for that super sticker. Thank you, Nicholas, and thank you for the kind words.
And pumped it once or twice. The bag wasn't sealed around her face. And then she walked away and grabbed some Narcan. Came back, hit her with Narcan, put the mask back on her face again, and this time opened her mouth and pumped 2 or 3 times, and then walked away again as her head rolled over. So the next time she come back, I jumped around there and held Rachel's head up so that she could get it sealed and pumped once or twice. As I'm telling her, you know, I don't know what to do here. This is your all's, you know, trade. I'm just a dumb construction worker.
Definitely, Melody. Could have been.
But I could tell something was wrong, but there was no sense of urgency. The other girl she had hollered at that was in the hallway, she had told her to call Dr. Torque and get him back here. Well, as Dr. Torque was on his way back, there was no response from the Narcan. When Torque came in, or when the plastic surgeon came in, he assessed the situation and made sure told him to call 911.
That's why I don't think it was the med, because if it was simply just the med, at least one Narcan could have brought her a little. They could have re-Narcaned after 5 minutes, but I think that they didn't choose that route because clearly the Narcan wasn't doing anything. Shout out to High Vibe Tribe for that super sticker. Yeah, they were probably, I would assume they're going to get the crash cart and things like that.
And the nurse hit Rachel with another dose of Narcan.
Okay. So they hit her twice with Narcan. In my opinion, if it was the 150 mics of Fent and the 0.5 Dilaudid, the 2 Narcans should have brought her out of that. That's why I feel like she had something else going on.
With it not doing anything. So, ambulance rushed, picked.
No, she was at a surgery center. A lot of times they do these procedures at surgery centers, not the hospital. So, in my opinion, she was probably at a surgery center, not a hospital. They have like what they call surgery suites, and that's where they usually do it at.
This up at the surgery center.
Yep.
Brought us to Bethesda North, and brought us to Bethesda North, and this is what we're looking at. She was without oxygen for over 6 minutes, supposedly. I don't know how that happens when you've got a crew that was supposed to be taking care of her. Was told last night that she's brain dead. I've got a couple days to make a decision. To me, it looks like incompetence. If the doctor would have been there, this wouldn't have happened, or if we'd have been at a hospital, it wouldn't have happened. She was administered too much medicine, 0.5 Dilaudid on top of 150 fentanyl is way too much for somebody that is so minute amount, that is so sensitive to drugs.
And I can understand him thinking that. I mean, he doesn't know, you know. Um, no spoilers.
Somebody dropped the ball here. But I will tell you one thing. Where they brought us, these people are absolutely
Right,
freaking
Clint?
amazing. They have been amazing with my wife. But it still doesn't change the fact that somebody dropped the ball and killed my wife.
Right, he doesn't know.
By the way, I'm still out all the money for the surgery.
What?
Another update on Rachel has been shared.
Wait, I did not hear that part. He's still out the money for the surgery. Now, I'm sorry. I get that it's a business, but if the patient passes away, they would have their money in I don't I'd probably get fired because if I was the office manager, they'd have their money back in their account that night. Like that's the least they could do is give the money back. But I would assume that their lawyers probably told them not to give the money back because it would probably look like they were accepting the fact that they did something wrong. So maybe that's why the money didn't go back in the account, but I just can't imagine that they won't give that money back. But I'm sure from the law aspect, I'm sure the lawyers told them you can't give them their money back because that is like you saying we did it wrong. So yeah, that makes sense. But damn, that's insane. But the way he talks about her, how she looked, the way that, they never got her back, nothing like that, I would assume she had some type of like a pulmonary embolism, a blood clot to the something, or some type of internal bleeding. I don't know. That's what it sounds like to me. Oh, hold on. I'm trying to click the wrong one.
This was 8 a.m. today, Monday, March 9th. Rachel continues to have shallow breathing while in hospice care. The neurologists and doctors have informed the family of this process when making the decision following many combined diagnostic tests. Continued prayers are appreciated. Like I said, that was this morning's update. It was posted by her brother-in-law, Ryan. I know there's been a lot of confusion surrounding Rachel. I also thought she had passed away until I came across Abby Blabby's video yesterday and started looking into things myself. Rachel's husband did share a video and said she's brain dead. As Abby mentioned in her video, it's possible there may have been some misunderstanding about the medical information being given. He isn't in the medical field and neither am I, but Abby is. Here's a clip of Abby explaining what she believes may have happened based on her medical perspective.
I'm recording this video on March 8th and she's still alive and on hospice. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, why would the husband have said she was brain dead? And I think it's because he is not in the medical field. And I would imagine that somebody told him she was without oxygen for 6 minutes. She has an anoxic brain injury and likely will not ever be the same. And he probably just misinterpreted that to she's brain dead.
Right.
Also, the updates being shared right now are coming directly from Rachel's family members, including one from her son. He said, the doctors have told us there's nothing else they can do. It is up to her and God now. She's on oxygen but not on a ventilator. They have told us at any point in time she could pass. I am holding on for a miracle, but I also realize that maybe the prayers I have sent will be received on the other side. He goes on to say, please keep praying for my mom, whether that means she goes to a beautiful place in the sky or wakes up from a miraculous recovery. Either way, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the love and support from strangers. Rachel went in for a tummy tuck, which many people view as a common cosmetic procedure. That's why what happened has left so many people shocked and heartbroken. I'd like to read a post about Rachel, which was shared by a family member, and I think it speaks to the kind of person Rachel is. There she is, right in the middle of all of us. She's like a glue and a solid rock to her husband, our sister-in-law Rachel. She is the kind of person who never met a stranger. If you were family, she loved you fiercely. If you were a friend, she thinks of you as family. She is a true go-getter with a heart that loves deeply and always wants to help anyone she can. She never judges, loves you for you. Her love of life is endless, and she brings so much light and kindness into the lives of everyone who is blessed to know her. She's just special, and I hope she knows that. Please continue to pray over her family. Whisper prayers of peace and strength when she pops into your mind. They really need it. Hey friends, another update on Rachel has
Oh, such a sad story. And all she did, she was just like, "Hey, I'm 47. I have all this life left to left to live. Like I'm starting my new chapter." Colette annoyed by all of the spoilers. Yeah, it's hard when you know the story. It's hard because you don't know what's coming in the video. I get it, but I do try to put in all the info that I find. But it happens. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of True Crime. Such sad stories, and prayers to all of the victims' families. Um, so many stories. There were so many stories. I had so many more. We've already done an hour. It's supposed to be an hour. It's an hour and 30, but I just couldn't help it. I had to include the story about Genesis and, of course, this story. Um, so sad. But we've got some stuff to cover on Malarkey. So please join me at 10:45 Eastern time for Malarkey. And if you don't do Malarkey, join me on Thursday for another episode of True Crime with your host, me, Feminine and Fierce. I hope you guys have a great night. I love y'all. And thanks for the support. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. And I will see you next time. Bye.